Nothing to do with God. The libertarian ideal and its material discontents. The libertarian doctrine champions individual autonomy, asserting that societal freedom and prosperity are maximized through minimal government intervention. It posits that all individuals are born free and equal before the law, endowed with inalienable rights to life, liberty, property, and free speech. The state's role in this view is solely to protect these negative rights, rights to be free from coercion, from infringement by others. This philosophy, however, implicitly relies on an idealized image of liberty. This abstract citizen is born free, legally equal, and secure in their person and property. In practice, this ideal is not neutral. It aligns with a specific archetype, an individual born into a context of wealth, stability, and social capital. A minimalist state is perfectly designed to protect the significant endowments this archetype already possesses from external seizure. Historically, this archetype has mirrored traditionally powerful demographics. Capitalism, as the material engine libertarianism, finds its economic counterpart in capitalism, the dominant mode of organizing the material means of survival. Capitalism's imperative is to exploit labor and production for profit, a process that inherently generates and reinforces class distinctions. Libertarian ideology, by sanctifying private property and rejecting redistribution, functions to segregate individuals at birth based on the very wealth and social characteristics that define the bourgeois or property-owning class. It protects the results of capital accumulation without questioning the initial conditions that made it possible. The chasm between abstract right and lived reality. While members of the property-owning class find their interests perfectly reflected in libertarian ideology, society is not monolithic. Consider a child born into systemic poverty, without adequate nutrition, healthcare, or a safe environment. This individual is born free in the abstract libertarian sense, but is fundamentally not equal. Their right to life is threatened by preventable disease. Their right to property is meaningless without capital or opportunity. Their free speech is legally guaranteed but practically negligible without the education and platform that wealth provides. Here, the libertarian framework reveals its profound rigidity. It categorically rejects the mechanism of proactive government intervention, the very tool disadvantaged individuals require to realize their theoretical rights. When the poor or marginalized seek public investment in education, healthcare, or social safety nets to achieve genuine agency, libertarianism frames such efforts as infringements on liberty, e.g., through taxation, rather than enablements of it. The philosophy thus systematically prioritizes the liberty of the advantaged, freedom from interference, over the liberty of the disadvantaged, freedom to thrive. A philosophy that protects inequality. Consequently, the doctrine operates coherently only for those who already resemble its presupposed image. For everyone else, it offers a philosophy that protects the status quo of inequality. Its core premise fails to account for the profoundly unequal starting points that determine whether liberty is a lived reality or an abstract, unattainable promise. Humans are not born equal. They are born into circumstances and environments that are already deeply stratified. For a political philosophy to claim universal validity, it must address the human condition in all its variety. By focusing exclusively on protecting pre-existing endowments from state interference, libertarianism effectively promotes the interests of those who are already secure and strong, while offering little to those born into circumstances of poverty and disadvantage. It protects a formal right to property, but remains silent on the initial distribution of resources that makes such a right meaningful. In so doing, it perpetuates a cycle where the theoretical equality of rights masks a practical and profound inequality of opportunity. The result is a society where the privileged class's right to unlimited property accumulation exists in stark, often violent contradiction to the reality of homelessness and deep-seated poverty among the marginalized. Libertarianism, therefore, is not a philosophy of universal human freedom, but a defense mechanism for entrenched power and accumulated advantage. The privileged private property-owning class has that special right for property investment stock in the face of homelessness among the poor. This is the reality that I advise so-called Christian conservatives to perceive the image of God. We are not all born perfect. In fact, some women are not able to give birth. This perception tends to view the rich, wealthy, and strong as born in the image of God, while others, unequal and born into circumstances, are not.